There was one country that you told me about where this move of sort of women towards the left and men towards the right is not happening. What's that country?
Happens to be a country of my birth. I was born in Singapore, and that is one of the countries where I've seen data coming out where you do not see this divergence between men and women in terms of how they identify politically. In fact, on the issue of racism, for example, apparently Singaporean women are actually far, far, far more conservative on, say, things having to do with race than men are. I struggle to think why that might be. Partly, I think that cultures that are very hierarchical. Singapore is quite a religious country. You have Confucian values that kind of, infuse the spiritual framework of society, and Confucian values are quite inherently conservative. I'm pretty sure you will not see this kind of divergence as well in places like Hungary, where you still have, at its core, very Christian values. Hierarchy is something that is, or that an order is associated more with the masculine side, and chaos more with the feminine side. Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. In East Asian culture, it's kind of represented in yin and yang. So you've seen that black and white, it's very cheesy, kind of graphic, black and white circles, kind of like interlocking cognates. And they both need each other. You need to balance each other out, right? And what's happening in Western societies, which is clearly not happening in Singapore, is that the yang, which is the masculine, is being overshadowed. There's too much yin. It's overpowering the yang. And so you have the society is just out of whack. And that's what I was talking about in terms of the trust, So all these dating issues become at the forefront because women don't trust men don't trust women, and it plays out it plays out the political scale, it plays out the individual scale as well in terms of relationships. And in societies where there's more of a balance, you're not going to see this divergence because men and women realize that they need each other. That society needs to have both, like a healthy society. I mean, there are traits that, and again, this is completely, toxic if you are a third wave feminist, right? Because the third wave feminists, the problem with their way of thinking was that they felt the need to pretend the only way women were going to get their rights to be equal was to pretend that women and men were equal, to be blinded on purpose to any differences, to the point that we've forgotten that there are differences between men and women. It's almost, in certain quarters of Western society, almost not kosher to even admit it. And one of the consequences of that, which feminists are now starting to realize, is that that's how you get men beating up women in combat sports, men winning all the medals in swimming against biological women, because you pretended for years that there was no difference between men and women. And now all of these issues are kind of coming to a head. We're seeing what happens to a society where you have an overload of yin. And I don't know what the correction will be. I mean, I see that if Trump is actually back in office and his team is back in office, he's explicitly anti-woke. He's probably going to gut a lot of the bureaucracy. Elon Musk is going to come in and, he says that he would have a role in his cabinet and improve the efficiency of the US government, i.e. gut the bureaucracy. And that's where the layer of DEI management is happening. Then that would be a correction of getting the yang to once again kind of, rise up and be a bit more equal to the yin.
I feel like, and I never would have said this years ago, I can't vote in America, but I feel like I would vote for Trump now, maybe because I'm a man. I think one of the things that it was, I don't like any of the grab them by the pussy. And I the allegations about him with women, that what he's done.
He said they let you grab it. They let you.
They let you.
He didn't just say you can grab them by the pussy. When you're famous, they let you. So it sounds like consent.